Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the attendees from around the world. My name is Govind, and I currently work at Microsoft as the PM for Open Data in the Experiences and Devices group. Today, I will share some of my professional life in various companies and nonprofits and talk about a few soft skills that every PM needs, in my opinion. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter afterwards if you have any questions. So, what are soft skills? Personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with other people. Well, those are some big words, and I apologize for making it more complex than it is. That is the definition of soft skills if you look up on the internet. Let me break it down a bit further. You often hear or refer to someone as motivated, passionate, great communicator. These are all soft skills. Basically, it is how you come across to your counterparts, how you come across to your direct reports, your leadership. That is referred to as soft skills. Habits, attitude, personality traits that help you relate to your colleagues, your friends, family, and the world. So, why are soft skills so important? As PMs, we pride ourselves as those visionary folks that create innovative solutions for the real world. We make this world a better place by the products we build. Well, okay, I agree. A bit much there, but whatever product we may work on, PMs are responsible for establishing the grand vision for the teams they work with, the execution plans, and ultimately responsible for the outcome. Product management implies leadership. It means leadership in various aspects of the PM process. Hence, the importance of soft skills. Let me take you through the learnings of my PM journey so far with respect to soft skills. Anticipation. Well, a lot of you may be thinking, is that even a skill? Is it? Let me tell you a story and see if it makes sense. Anticipation is probably the most underrated soft skill, if you ask me. As all of you would agree, good execution is critical to a success of a product. I'm assured that all of you at some point in your careers have come across unforeseen problems, even with the best planning. So here I start with my first story. Uh, I call it the no DevOps engineer. For all those who don't know what a DevOps engineer does, a DevOps engineer is an information technology, like an IT professional who works with software developers, system operators, also called sysops sometimes, and other product IT staff to oversee code releases. So in one of my PM roles, I was responsible for launching a mobile app for a well-established healthcare company. Every step end to end had been detailed to the minutest level because it was the company's first ever mobile app. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. It was the same for me. I had never ever launched a mobile app myself. In any case, things were smooth sailing until one fine day in the daily team meeting, some of you refer to it as Scrum, a risk was brought up that our DevOps engineer was leaving the company. Suddenly, there was an issue that needed immediate attention because of its potential to derail the entire product launch activities. Could this issue be anticipated? As PMs, we must resolve multiple issues. First step in that process is to anticipate issues. PMs can be experienced or not. In this case, I did not have experience launching mobile apps, but Can everyone agree that at some point everybody gets blindsided by challenges? PMs must always find better ways to do things. Difficult situations makes a PM stronger. So we should all practice, right? Think of it as a road sign. Road signs help a driver anticipate what is coming down the road. So the driver is not surprised when the vehicle actually gets there. I was recently reading an article that talked about the importance of anticipation skills these days and how even school curriculum includes teaching anticipation skills to children. Well, in that case, VPMs definitely need to know what is coming down our roadmap trip. So, how to enhance the skills? How do we anticipate better? Communicate, 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 right? Build and develop partner relationships with the teams that you work with. Connect as often as possible. Exhibit participative leadership where possible. Become part of every team. Become their confidant so they freely share their problems. Also know your alternatives at each step. Data, 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 of course. Question every step and think of all possibilities that cause a failure. Keep competition in perspective. Learn from their wins and mistakes. Retrospect the difficult situation that you are in. Write it out. One doesn't have to detail every word by word, but you must have a workflow. In future, you should have a project plan. While looking through all the tasks, you can bubble up the risks for yourself. So, what happened in the first story? I myself was surprised that I was not shocked at all with this news. Connecting with the DevOps team continuously, I had already identified that there was only one engineer on this project as the team was facing multiple time off requests because of summer times. An alternative I had already researched was bringing our cloud partner to back us up on DevOps activities. Within a week of this news, I was able to get leadership approval and resolve the issue. My calm and composed behavior definitely increased my team's confidence in me in facing challenges. And yes, I have to admit, it did wonders to myself, right? It did wonders to my own confidence as well. Well, talking about confidence, the second soft skill I want to talk about today is confidence. What's wrong with being confident? Well, putting a reference to a 2015 Demi Lovato song gives away the fact that I have a teenager at home and the fact that I haven't kept up with any of the latest music trends. Well, if we keep that aside for a minute, why is confidence a strong skills to have? Confidence is a morale booster and an important aspect for building a strong team. The question is, whose confidence are we really talking about here? Well, let me tell you a story. I call it the Odyssey of the Mind. In one of my advisor roles to a nonprofit organization, I was working with a team that had their end of year presentation in front of a big crowd coming up soon. Well, things used to be live back then, and I really hope we get back to that soon. One of the ideas that the team had was to have a large banner that would welcome and become the background for all speakers during the event. Time and resources were limited for this nonprofit, and the final decision of the team was to hand paint the banner on a translucent shower curtain. Now, I was concerned that As the paint dries up, the plastic shower curtain won't hold it up. And if we had to roll it or fold it to transport it to the venue, it is going to be a fiasco. What should I do? I was thinking, what can I do here? Should I take over the task, paint the canvas, paint a canvas large enough to become the background? What should I do? Should I tell them that they're doing it all wrong and explain what is the right way of doing things? Well, you all know, right? Plastic is a tricky surface to paint. Unlike wood, plastic is not porous. So the paint has little to stick to, but with the right amount of preparation, you can paint plastic with success. So what am I going to do? PMs are responsible for instilling confidence in their teams. A PM is responsible for also driving the roadmap. So does it mean that if I see a risk of failure, I should take over the task? If I find the team failing in a certain task, should I immediately start looking for alternate solutions myself? Or how should I let them mitigate this risk? So the question is how to be more confident, how to be more confident as a PM, and how to make your team more confident. So my first tool is delegate, delegate, delegate. Delegate important tasks and make people accountable. This shows that as a PM, you have confidence in the team. It increases reliability and overall de-risks product roadmap because you're not responsible for making every decision every second of the day. Motivate, motivate, motivate. Motivate your team, motivate your partners. Connect your why for the product back to their tasks and highlight the importance of those tasks in the grand scheme of things. Everyone, everyone wants to know that they are making an impact. Everybody needs to know that each task that they're working on actually puts the end game in perspective. Please do not make all decisions yourself. Motivate your team, assign responsibilities, and support their decisions. If people don't make decisions, they will never become confident in what they're doing. This is a very tough one. As a PM, it is very encouraging as a PM to make decisions, to make things happen. And if they happen to be correct, yay, now you're motivated to make even more decisions. Don't make that mistake. Do not make that mistake. PMs must not micromanage. Your confidence in the team helps instill confidence in each team member. It shows you take them seriously. It shows that you respect that they are working on the task and they will be able to complete it. And in return, you will find them taking things more seriously. Support your team, support your partners, no matter what. Ask the right questions, help them identify gaps in their plan, but don't give them the solution. Try to learn why a particular solution was proposed. Maybe you have something to learn as well, right? So, what happened eventually in that story? In short, partial failure, I have to accept. I stuck with them on their decision to paint while I tried to ask them all possible questions about the logistics of moving this banner around. And if they wanted to test run it, created scenarios in a hope to realize, to help them realize the gaps in their plan. As the team members started painting, it was inevitable that the work would need multiple sittings. What happened at the third meeting was the paint on the lower half started peeling off. And we all had to scramble to find a solution and fix the entire banner. Overall, at the end, the banner looked good, and at the event, quite a few folks wanted to know how we got the paint on a plastic curtain. What was noticeable was the confidence gain in the team members from this exercise, which led them to overcome many other hurdles that they had to face until the end of the event. So, just for those folks who are super curious about the plastic and paint solution, well, it's simple. Rough up the plastic lightly with the sandpaper and it'll stick, right? Anyways, the third thing I want to talk about today is enthusiasm. Seriously, what is the relationship with PM activities? I've talked about anticipation, I've talked about confidence. Half of you are probably wondering, what is it about enthusiasm that makes it so important? Well, let me tell you another story. The data never lies. And I promise this is the last one. In my current role, I get to launch data products that become part of other products served to millions of customers and consumers. One of the challenges of being in this role is that even in the world of immense data these days, even in the world of immense data these days, data is not enough or complete. There are gaps in every data set, and we constantly weigh one data source against the other. Which one will serve our customers, our consumers the best? In other words, there are gaps constantly reported in my products by our consumers and customers, which need to be filled by my team. In such a situation, how do you convince your partner teams in your group and in other groups that they must pick up the latest data product from my team because it will be better than the one previously being used by them? Can I tell them that, don't worry, folks, there will be no issues, knowing that this is impossible? What should I do? What should I do to convince these teams? A PM is responsible for the contagious enthusiasm across all teams. The never ending cycle of build, measure, learn sometimes takes a toll on the product team because you constantly get feedback, you find issues, you have to fix them, and you go in this vicious cycle sometimes. Positive and enthusiastic attitude is critical to workplace success. So, how do you become forever enthusiastic as a PM? Share, share, share. Share your whys for the product aggressively. Why are you doing this? What problem are you trying to solve? Write about your product, write a blog, write articles, put it on LinkedIn, present at conferences, involve your team members, and let them see the world through your eyes. Let them see the product the way you envision it being used by your consumers or customers. Share your findings, the highs and lows. Share the competitive analysis with your team. Remember, every product has scope for improvement. The second one is listen, listen, listen. Listen to the data. Employ data science. Data science is critical. Employ techniques that give you confidence in your approach. And in return, you inevitably become enthusiastic about the product. And your enthusiasm spreads contagiously across all teams. Include and listen to your diverse users, your customers. Solicit feedback one on one if you can. My current role gives me access to preferred partners who voluntarily sign up to give feedback to all new and upcoming products and features. Logical, repeatable product development frameworks. A major component that I find very interesting in boosting enthusiasm as well as gaining confidence is a set of logical, repeatable, and I stress the word repeatable product development frameworks. People love repeatable product frameworks. It gives them satisfaction to know that they've gone through this process once already, or twice, or thrice. It's repeatable. They understand it. In engineering terms, those that can be automated. So hopefully, this puts a smile on every engineer who's attending this presentation and is an inspiring PM. Every PM must have a sounding board. A major part of my enthusiasm comes from sharing my plans, my proposals, my ideas with my sounding board. A group whose reactions to my suggested ideas are a test of their validity or likely success before they are made public. It's almost like getting a secret feedback before putting your ideas, your proposals out there. So, what is the conclusion of third story? Well, it is ongoing. I'm working on it. I'm learning every day from my successes and what went well and what did not go as planned. I have made two buckets for myself, and I request everyone to do it for their roles as well. My two buckets are the success bucket and the experience bucket. I hope my stories gave you insights to life as a PM, whether you are a seasoned PM or an aspiring one. Please do not hesitate to share your stories, your ideas with me, either on LinkedIn or Twitter. Thank you.